This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's got some beautiful weather out there, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I know. It was
75 and sunny.
Yeah. Where's that, in like Texas?
Get your FBS out, everybody. It's going to be a hot one. It's going to be a steamy one. You don't want to get burned.
Yeah, no, it is downpouring outside.
Oh, yeah. When I got here, a downpour. It's supposed to turn to snow when?
I want to say in like an hour or two, and then it'll go through about 2 o'clock. I don't know if it's going to stick, but it's going to be as the weather people have been describing, a whiteout with like all the blustery winds.
Oh, yeah.
So I think driving around that time is going to be a little tough until like after 2 o'clock.
Yeah, because it snows at 1 and 2 o'clock, it says, and then it's going to rain at 3, and then it's supposed to be cloudy from then on.
Oh, amazing.
But it's also supposed to be 37 degrees.
Oh, my God. How many kids are going to go to the hospital trick-or-treating from slipping?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Just slip and slide down an inclined driveway.
Or I wonder if there were, because it's been so nice, where parents were like, oh, you want to go as like a basketball player or something that requires like shorts and a T-shirt. And now they're like, oh, it's going to be 30 degrees. You're going to get pneumonia.
All of a sudden, Anthony Edwards exclusively wears sweatpants and hoodies.
Yes.
There you go. So as far as the news is concerned, is it just a coincidence that Halloween, it's not only the spooky season. Oh, I should mention, by the way, I think about this every year because when we moved many, many years ago, and Andy was in 3rd grade, Alex was in 1st grade. Mm-hmm. We moved to a new neighborhood, and there was a local school. It was the closest to the house. So we enrolled them in there because they're in 1st and 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. That lasted about a month and a half. Okay. Mm-hmm. We pulled them out of the school because they did an entire little deal, a trope on how evil Halloween was. So I said, okay, we're gone. Goodbye.
Was this a
religious school?
No, religious school?
I thought it was, kind of semi. It was
like maybe they'll mix it in, but it's not like there's no nuns walking around the halls. Basically.
No, this was a Christian school, not a Catholic school.
Gotcha. Okay.
Some kind of Christian deal. I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah, it's all these fake religions they make up. Let's be honest. There's Jews and Catholics. The rest is all made up bullshit. But yeah, we had to pull them out of school because they were talking about how evil Halloween was. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing about Halloween that I absolutely love, kids, 2 things. I love Halloween. The spooky outfits, going around the streets with your friends and all the rest of it. And of course, every 2 years on Halloween, the voter fraud is just phenomenal.
Oh my God.
And they're at it again this year. I was watching all kinds of different channels this morning. Tens and tens and tens of thousands of votes that they're saying now, voter fraud. It's like, why do we have to do this? Explain that to me. You can't just accept it as it's going to go. You have to cheat. It looks like they caught him so far. I hope, anyway.
Yeah. Well, I had a friend that's very into politics. Say, and he sent I guess CBS on one of their broadcasts for some show accidentally put up a graphic that said like Harris won Pennsylvania or something. Yeah. So he's like, the fix is already in. And I'm like, okay, let's all calm down. I'm sure they have a Trump graphic. Like they're not making the graphics up on the spot on the night of. So they have to have them preloaded.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure there's no like intern like, well, how many votes? Okay, quick, type in Harris won and plug it into this.
How do you not know that's going to come up when you present it?
Oh, like they definitely put the wrong button up, but I'm sure they have a Trump one that's right next to the Harris one just because they have to be ready to be first with the graphic.
Like frankly, and this is maybe here's what I'll say. I know a friend of mine who also works in radio who, while running a board at one point, went to like test out items like on their button bar, like sound stuff. Like, we have the applause thing. We have like the rim shot stuff. And there's a button that's like, it's in Q is what it's called, where it's like, it doesn't go out over there, but you hear it in the studio.
Right.
He thought it was in there and it went out over there.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just like, you have that kind of that miscue at times.
Yeah. Yep.
When that band's name is Crisco. That's all I have to say. I miss Crisco. I haven't seen him since there was, like warmer weather.
Is he one of those that dips out as soon as it gets cold as well?
I don't know.
No,
I would.
Oh,
No, I see him. I see him there every day. That morning show, they run a tight ship.
It's a tight ship.
Him, Wes, and Dez are in there bright and early, no matter the weather.
Yep.
I was talking to them at one point, I think like a year or two ago.
Mhm.
It was going to be like an insane blizzard, just like multiple feet of snow.
Mhm.
And they were all like, well, let's just get a hotel as close to the station as possible so we can go in and still do the show together. And I was like, oh my gosh, guys, that is unbelievable dedication.
That's dedication.
Would that be like Shithole Arms? There's no hotel over there.
There's got to be like a Holiday Inn or something.
It was something over on like the Industrial Boulevard or whatever, like a mile or two away.
See? That's all I'm saying. Are there hookers just waiting in the lobby?
That's Bandana Square.
That's
when
nice.
when I was in high school, we did like a team building trip, and we stayed at the Bandana Square with our basketball team, and there was a literal pimp
in
the hotel lobby as we're walking in, and he's like, "You guys want some girls?" And our coach was like, "All right, we're gonna shuffle over this
Look
way."
at the time. We got to get going. You want some girls?
I got some girls for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I suppose we better take our break here because we got lots to get to today. We got Judd coming on to ruin Halloween for us. Got a little scary movie, kids. The Odd Couple. That was still one of my favorite episodes on Second City TV.
Okay.
Dressed up as Dracula's Joe. What the hell is his name? Joe. Damn it, I can't remember his name now, but he was very, very good.
What show?
Second City, the Canadian show.
The Monster Chiller
Joe
Horror.
Flaherty?
Joe Flaherty, there you
Flaherty.
go. Monster Chiller Horror Theater. Kids, today, a real scary movie, The Odd Couple, because they sent the wrong film to the studio. The greatest. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come right back and find out just how scary Judd Zulgad can get. What do you think?
No more scarier than the typical Viking season, so I think we should be all right.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's good. That's very, very true. Owner Tim Bloom and his staff at EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake and Burnsville specialize in quality, affordable scooters, mopeds, youth ATVs, motorcycles, electric bikes, ATVs, go-karts, and side-by-sides for the Twin Cities area. EcoFun Motorsports offers premier brands such as Benelli, Lance, Kawasaki, Moto Guzzi, Scootstar, Yamaha, Vanderhall, Vespa, and Wildside, among many others. I think Dougie Sprinthal reached out to the owner, Tim Bloom, and asked him if he wanted to be on, but he hadn't heard back from him yet, I guess. He would have been good to have on, I would think.
And the thing about these bikes, though, too, is like right now, like today, you're not thinking I want an e-bike.
No,
but
that's true.
But by the time it gets back around to like springtime and the sun starts peeking out again, and it's climbing back up to like 60, 70, you're going to be like, I wish I had one, but the prices are not going to be as good as they are right now.
There you go. Already looking for early holiday deals to take advantage of? Well, visit EcoFun Motorsports, the premier outdoor recreation playground in the Twin Cities, to take advantage of their unbelievable Yamaha electric bike sale going on now through November 4th. Owner Tim Bloom says this is the biggest deal he has ever been a part of in his 17 years in the motorsports business. These are high-quality Yamaha designed and built bikes that need to get sold ASAP. By the Yamaha CrossCore RC electric bike, ideal for bike trails, sidewalks, and roads. MSRP is $2,999, but is currently on sale for $1,199 plus freight, setup, and tax. But you're still going to save a ton of dough, man. 1,800 bucks.
Yeah.
Buy a full suspension off-road Yamaha YDX Moro electric mountain bike. Originally MSRP $47.99, on sale for $1,919. Now through November 4th, or buy the race version, the Yamaha YDX Moto Pro electric mountain bike, original MSRP $5,499, on sale now for $2,199. Man, you're saving a lot of money. Both models come with a free second battery and a 5-year warranty. Colors and sizes are on a first-come basis, so hurry into EcoFun Motorsports today in Forest Lake or Burnsville to get your Yamaha electric bike now before they are gone. Visit ecofunmotorsports.com and tell owner Tim Bloom that Tom Barnard sent you in.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towels, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% off select items. Looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of MyPillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at TomBarnardShow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ladies and gentlemen, St. Thomas football travels to the Bluegrass State this Saturday on 1500 ESPN and 1500ESPN.com. Next up, Morehead State University. Oh, God, every time I see that name, I think of that great sign that I once saw up in when I was working in Fargo, North Dakota.
I can only imagine.
Morehead State University.
Yeah,
true story. Was it the Bemidji Beavers, I think?
Yep. The Bemidji State Beavers.
Bemidji State Beavers had a huge sign at the stadium that said, "We've licked the Beavers. Now we want Morehead."
Oh, boy.
Nice.
Oh, boy.
College kids are clever.
I will never forget that as long as I live. Like, are you kidding me? Well, apparently they probably got the signs up today up there too, I would imagine. St. Thomas anyway. Probably not at St. Thomas though.
Well, that's if you're the conference schedulers, you got to understand that you can't schedule the Beavers in Morehead State back to back.
Yep.
Otherwise,
Yes.
you're going to have something like that just being asked to be made.
Yep.
St. Thomas football, ladies and gentlemen. The Morehead State University pregame 11:30, kickoff at noon. 1500 ESPN and 1500 ESPN. Man, I'm allergic to one of you guys.
I wore my allergy perfume today, so
I knew it.
Just sprayed yourself with pollen.
I knew it was something like that, ladies and gentlemen. So, Judd, not only the Twins can collapse, there's another team in New York that's really good at collapsing.
So how was it that the Yankees became the Twins in this series? Like they were copying the Twins game plan. It's the most incredible thing of all time. What a meltdown.
Is that what, 5-run lead?
Yeah, 5-run lead early. They had chased Jack Flaherty, the Dodgers starter, from the game. They were all but insured of going back to Los Angeles for Game 6, pressure on the Dodgers. And they completely screwed the pooch. I mean, that inning in which they melted down was unbelievable. Errors by Volpe and Judge. Garrett Cole didn't cover first base.
What?
Yeah, you got to go back and watch just watch the miscues. The miscues are unbelievable. It was completely their own destruction.
I heard that Aaron Judge, I didn't watch the whole thing, but Aaron Judge had a terrible series from what I heard.
Yeah, terrible playoffs.
Yeah, it was awful. He's not
really the whole playoffs, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible series. Not good in the playoffs, period. And he hit a home run last night, but he overall it was. I mean, the Dodgers deserved to win this thing. There's no, but the Yankees. I don't know how they became the Twins. Why don't they do this against the Twins?
They never do it against the Twins.
I know, but like literally, we're doing the things the Twins would do against the Yankees.
I know.
It was the same stuff, and at home in the Bronx.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They lost this they got I just cannot believe you gave up a 5-run lead at home. That's hard to do, I would think.
And then took it back because it was then 5-5.
Yeah.
After they collapsed and it was 5-5, and then they took the lead back. Giancarlo Stanton sacrificed fly, so now it's 6-5, and then they gave up 2 more runs. So yeah, it was it was something.
7-6, the final 4-1 games. I mean, it was not a good World Series. It just wasn't.
Yeah, I will say this: Twins fans should be happy, right?
Why?
Because the Yankees collapsed.
Well, okay, that part you're right. You're absolutely right.
They should be happy about that.
No question about it. I just are the Twins ever going to be good again? Is that ever going to happen? Are they going to sell the team? It's been up for sale now for like 2 months. I called and offered them a good amount of dough, but they turned me down.
Yeah, I heard you threw my life rights in there. What was that?
Yeah, I was right. And $1,500 and the two of you.
Yep. I'm going
to go
working the concession stand for free. Pay off that debt.
Yeah, hot dogs. Get your hot dogs.
I cannot remember his name, and it pisses me off, but he was a black man in America today. He wore a Brock umbrella on his noggin to sell beer at the old Met, and I cannot remember his name, which pisses me off because he was one of the great guys I've ever met.
Oh, no, he was famous.
Yeah, he was, absolutely.
Maceo Breedlove, was it?
That sounds right. I think it was Maceo Breedlove.
I think he had played. I think his story, if I'm not wrong, if I'm correct on this, I think he had played in the Negro Leagues. He was a real good baseball player, and then he sold beer at the Met.
Really good guy, really good. He was the first Brock umbrella I ever saw. This would be a hat that was an umbrella.
Yeah, that's right.
Fit it on your head so it would just fit over your. It was a great idea, the Brock umbrella. I thought Lou Brock came up with it. Is that right?
I have no idea.
I thought it was.
I seriously have no clue. I thought you were kidding.
You want to support your people or not?
I don't know who came up with the Brock umbrella, but it sounds like something that my people would come up with. But Maceo, born in 1900, died in 1993. Was the guy that you're talking about.
93 years old.
That's a great run. Okay.
Oh, what a great guy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people. I think he was pretty famous in the Met, though, right? Like a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Or popular. Yeah. Okay.
Very, very popular guy. And then there was another guy who was about 90, the white guy, who sold popcorn, and he belted it out like this: "Fresh popcorn, got some fresh popcorn for you." You could not even hear him. He was like in his 90s or something. But what a treat that was!
Are we still going through the stand? You know, I know a lot changed with COVID, and I think they halted it for a while. Are we back to selling hot dogs and beer in the stands, or are we done with that?
I don't know. Does anybody know?
The few games I went to this year, they don't as much have like the hot dogs, but like it's giant frozen margaritas that I see them like schlepping up and down the.
Oh, they are? Okay, so those are going up and down now, though. We're back to the okay.
They do that. The occasional like beer with maybe like peanuts. I don't think you can get a hot dog as much as like just something like peanuts or Cracker Jack or a beer or two.
Okay, so but beer is back because I know I think they halted that for coming out of COVID, I think they halted it for a couple of years or at least a year. So,
yeah, alcohol kills the COVID, so you're good.
Just drinking off.
Yeah.
Was there ever a COVID to kill, or was it all bullshit? I got it twice, though. I did get it twice. So I don't know. It was a real threat.
I got it once.
Did you?
I got it once.
I didn't have it very severely. It was okay.
Yeah, I think I had been vaxxed once or twice when I got it.
Right.
And so it wasn't as bad, but I did lose my sense of taste and smell.
Did you? You didn't stink anymore?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you.
You could smell. Oh, I see.
I'm going to tell you something. So the sense of taste was not fun because when it was weird. The sense of smell thing, didn't really mind it too much.
No, I understand that.
I couldn't smell anything, but I'm like, it's not like it was a pungent, it's so like you just couldn't smell anything.
Right.
Just breathe. It was sort of a nice filter.
Judd's leaving the bathroom and his wife's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" He's like, "Sorry, I couldn't tell."
No, you know what? More importantly, when you're going into the bathroom after someone else, it wasn't a problem age. I'm like, "Oh, this is great. Everything's great."
I like it when the little kids go use your bathroom and then just don't bother to flush the toilet. So you go like, "Oh, that's great. That's wonderful."
Oh God.
It's perfect.
Well, how about people at sporting events, adults who do that?
Oh God. Now you just made me that horrible vision in my head of that guy that's at some concert and he comes out of one of those, portable toilets.
Oh,
Starts washing his hands in the urinal.
Oh, what?
Oh, you've never seen that video? He's washing his hands.
Nope.
And he's going, and all of a sudden, this woman's staring at him, and he goes, "This is not the urinal, is it?" She goes, "Yeah, it is." He's like,
Oh my God.
Too many questions.
Not what you.
I bet you could find that video if you wanted.
Why would he want to? Oh.
Why is there a lady next to the urinal?
Well, she was a reporter talking about being at the concert or the fair or whatever the hell it was. I don't know what it was. But this guy's washing his. Isn't the water a little yellow in this area? I would think.
Oh, there's no you know what? There's no limit to the amount of things that certain people don't understand.
Oh, great. Thank you. I just got a little message from a friend of mine that said, "Hey, now you're shoulder to shoulder with that guy. He washed his hands in the urinal and you peed your pants on the air earlier this week." So that's good. Did you hear about that?
No.
I spilled a Diet Pepsi in my lap.
Okay.
And by the time it was done spreading out, it looked like I had peed my pants for about an hour.
Judd, it was bad.
It was really bad.
Really bad.
Matter of fact, I think it was these pants. I think. No, they were not. They were light blue pants. That's what it was. Because it was light blue, so it was really dark in the Pepsi part.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh yeah, you could see it coming for miles. And then of course I had an interview to do, so I had to run home and change my pants. What a thrill. But what are you going to do? Okay, so now we have, as far as sports are concerned,
Yes.
we got our Vikings still, who have sucked the last 2 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do for sports?
Let me see here. Let me see. The Wild playing very well. They've only lost 1 game. They're 9 games in. I think they are 6 wins, 1 loss, 2 overtime losses or shootout for which you get a point. So they're playing well. They play on Friday. They start a 3-game homestand. So I come with hope. There. The Wolves lost to the Mavericks, but they play Denver on Friday, and that they still have big expectations. And to be honest, when it comes to the Vikings, I would hope that they can get back, that they're going to get back on track on Sunday night.
It would be great.
I'm not giving up hope yet. They picked up, they traded for a left tackle to replace Darisaw, which is a huge loss, but they still made a trade there. The Vikings are not giving up hope, and I still think that they have a very good chance. Well, I think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think I still think there's reason to be optimistic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with this weekend, I think I'd rather play against Anthony Richardson than Joe Flacco.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, Indianapolis seems to be kind of a dumpster fire right now, so I think we should be able to eke out a win.
Eke
out.
I like it.
I like eking out
by the hair of their chinny chin.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. That's all I have to say.
I'm very creative, if nothing else.
Well, that's why we have you on the show. It's just...
By the way, who is going trick or treating tonight?
I'm actually going to dress up as Judd and go trick or treating.
Tom, the grandkids, right?
Yes, that's why my children will be out there in the snow trick or treating, and I will not be. But I do remember 1991. Andy was 4, Alex was 2. 3 feet of snow on Halloween. I will never forget that. My God, did it snow?
It's like clockwork.
We went right from a Twins World Series parade.
Yeah, that's right.
And then that's when we should have known it was over.
That actually makes more sense now that you say that that's the string of events. Like, oh, you guys reached the mountaintop? Snow.
Yeah. No, not just snow. Days of snow.
Yeah.
Oh God, did it snow and snow and snow? And Andy, dressed up, like I said, as one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Alex is 2, so she's dressed up being carried around by Catherine as a witch. Catherine's got a costume right now. She had a procedure. If you saw Catherine, you would literally look at me and go, "Tom, stop beating your wife."
Uh-oh.
She's got, her lips are really thick. Her eyes are both black. It's like, holy God.
Oh no.
Catherine. But it was a good procedure. Well, Ralph Basham did it, so how could it be bad? Right?
Well, that's good. Yeah.
It all worked out. Yeah, but yeah,
I'm glad it's good. Yeah.
I didn't know Ralph was a doctor.
You didn't know Ralph was a doctor?
No.
Oh God, yeah, he's a terrific.
We don't put Dr. Basham up as his name
Yeah,
tag.
Dr. Basham. It's
Just
like
for the
Dr.
fun of it.
It was like a
Love.
nickname.
Or a Hackmaster. He does it all.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's a surgeon, so I call him Hackmaster.
Oh, okay.
That's
I thought
Wow.
now this is coming. I thought it was just because he just like called everybody a hack or something.
No.
Oh no, he's
Alright.
a special Hackmaster.
All right.
But he got the people up there at that Minnesota Healthcare Center up in Maple Grove. My God, they're nice people. We're joking around. Catherine's upstairs getting stabbed in the face to make sure she's good, and she is, by the way. She's doing really, really well. But I go downstairs and buy some Nutella cookies, and we're sitting down there in the pharmacy. The pharmacist, me, everybody eating cookies.
Catherine's just in pain. You come up with
Yeah,
like
you get-
Nutella cookie
Hey, you want a
crumb.
cookie?
I got a lot of sugar in my system, honey. I'm getting jacked up. Here we go. No, they did a really nice job. They actually, the care was terrific.
Good.
No, the one thing I will tell you though, being at this point in my life, you look around and these two people that come in, one guy and one woman to check on Catherine to see how it is. And I look up and I go, why are they sending 11-year-olds in here to check on my wife? These people are so young. It's amazing.
It's incredible. People in their 20s, when you're in your 20s, you don't realize that you still
No.
look like a kid.
You do. Absolutely. You still look like a kid.
You don't realize it until you're in your like 50s, and then you're like, man, you look like a kid.
One thing I will say, and I'm very, very serious about this, healthcare in Minnesota. There are a lot of things about Minnesota I find kind of shaky, but healthcare in the state is phenomenal. It's really, really good. I mean, if you need something, you can get it taken care of here. You don't need to travel anywhere. It's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Great stuff. All right. Any closing statements before? Now that we don't get to talk to you again until next week. What the hell?
I know. You got Mackie on Friday, so Phil can.
My Friday and Monday. So I mean, it's like, what a disaster.
Yeah, he'll have to carry the load. He'll have to do all of the work. No, just have a great day. Stay inside. I think you're very smart, Tom. And there is, as far as I can tell, when I just went out my door to grab the newspaper, there's no reason to go outside again today.
Okay, before you leave, off the top of your head, maybe you don't have one.
Yeah.
Because Catherine, is recovering, doing a great job and all that. By the way, it pisses me off. She's got all this bruising and all this, and it's coming across nicely. And by the way, she's still like 15 times better looking than I am. It's not fair.
It's what happens.
That's what happens.
It's life, man.
Okay.
It's life. It's life.
No question about it. What's so funny though, because women, it's like, oh my God, I'm hideous. I'm like, no, you're not. You got some discoloration. That doesn't make you hideous. What are you talking?
You're not hideous. I mean, it's not great right now, but you're not hideous.
That's gonna go away in a day or two. I
Yes.
look like this all the time.
Well,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm stuck.
Exactly right. Good.
I'm stuck. All right.
All right, Pally. We will talk to you next week.
Sounds good. See you later. Have a good weekend.
We'll talk to you later. We'll take a break here. Be right back. Chris Egert joining in to ruin the show. I mean, to build the show up to higher heights. Is that what you want me to say?
I mean, it depends on who you ask what he exactly adds or
That's a good point.
detracts. Yeah.
I've got faith in him today. I think he's
You
gonna
do?
deliver.
Mhm.
Hopefully, he's got some news about this weather that we got cooking.
You mean like rain, pouring rain, like
yeah,
it is
I just want to know
now?
when it's gonna stop.
I think it's stopping tonight at like 7:00.
Oh God.
That's what I heard. Well, we'll find out from Chris Egert right after this. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Alley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Chris Egert in studio. I just went in the other room and kind of checked on a couple things. About 5 years ago, when we moved into this studio, the kids, Alex's kids were, I believe, 3 and 1. So I figured, hey, let's bring some stuff in there. So she brings them in the studio. They can sit in here and have fun and all the rest of it. Never been opened, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Super fun family time. Box has never been opened, so I guess they weren't impressed. But
I guess it wasn't so super fun.
But I'm going to show you something you haven't seen in a while. And some people probably under the age of 35 may have never noticed them, so they in their brain, they've never seen them. You ready?
Yeah.
Hello, Sandra. Look what I found in the other room. Where did this come from?
What is that crazy contraption?
Is that
exactly?
Is that an old computer?
Is that
a stapler? What is that thing?
I walk in the other room and there's this phone. This is from what, like 40 years ago, maybe? I mean,
that's probably definitely late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. So it's like 35, 40 years ago.
I guess that is. Oh my God! That hit a little bit all of a sudden.
Oh, there's no question about it. But it's better than I remember when I was a little boy, going to my father's mother and father, my grandma and grandpa, and I was maybe 3. Hello, Central. They'd have to crank the thing to get a hold of Central up in Long Prairie, Minnesota.
God, how'd you get one of those things? That's
no, we had snazzy phones in the Twin Cities residence, you know.
Right.
The big city, yeah. But I just, where the hell, this had to have been sitting there for like 40 years.
Might need to go in.
Maybe the grandkids were playing with it or something. They were playing old timey. Hey kids, let's play old timey phone time. What's this chord?
Brooklyn Dodgers taking on the.
Yeah, Liz, while we're on the phone together, why don't you send me a couple of
Spiders.
pictures here without a shirt? What do you say?
Remember stupid answering machine messages? And when they were when you had a tape in there and like you'd have to be so precise with getting the stupid tape, and then that evolved to like a mini tape. And then when it really got crazy, it evolved to like its own little internal hard drive thing where you record your message. I remember putting such effort into really having a good, solid answering machine message. And what a dumb, weird thing to think about, like from the past, right?
Did you have guys? It was always guys. It wasn't girls. you have guys when you were, let's say, in your early 20s, and they got their, they had their first apartment, or they're at college or whatever. They could never just leave thanks, we're not here right now. Just leave a message and we'll get back to you. They couldn't leave messages like that. It's like, hey, what's happening? Cool breeze. Nice of you to reach out to me, man. Just leave your digits. It's like, shut up.
Yeah, because you're hoping
to use music. And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have a song playing, be like,
Yes.
although we've come. I'm not here right now. As the music like plays in the background. Yeah.
because it was all about the ladies, man. It was all about getting somebody to leave you a message. It's like,
And then it's just like your grandma.
Yeah.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
right?
it's been so long. How have you been?
God, I'm just thinking about that. I broke up with a gal by leaving her a message on an answering machine, and that's I feel to this day I feel really bad about that because she was so nice, and I don't know what was going on with me, but that's God, that's hardcore, man.
Can we like get you guys on the show at the same time and you can offer her a public apology?
I would like to, but I can't really find her. She's sort of
Blocked you.
I don't think she's on the socials, so I have not really had a chance to, because I've looked for her because I've been curious because I did want to apologize.
You know what's amazing about that? What if he finds out? We'll dig into it for him. What if he find out she hanged herself right after he hung up?
I was going to say she's some like super successful, like married to like the richest man ever.
That's more likely, Tevin.
Yeah,
That's
like,
the more
her life
likely
has gone
scenario.
Very, very well.
Oh God!
Drop her name in the chat, Chris, and we'll do some sleuthing.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
No.
I don't need you guys sleuthing anything on my behalf.
No sleuthing on my behalf.
She's going to get a message like, hey, Crystal, this is Tevin. I represent Chris from KSTP. You would like to
like, what? Who? Oh, that dick who left me a voicemail, or left me, it wasn't even a voicemail, left me an answering machine message breaking up with me.
Did you ever get a call from somebody, or let's say you called a young, maybe a teenage girl when you were a teenager, young, whatever, and maybe not get the reception you thought you were going to get?
Oh God, yeah.
Some guys will not admit it. You know what's happened to everybody. But I remember calling this beautiful young girl and asking her out, and she said, I'm not really your type. She didn't say you're not my type. She said, I'm not your type. So she put it on herself, but I got the message anyway.
So did I guess what I was wondering if the dad ever picked up the phone that was always the worst when you called and the old man picked up the phone. And God, as a father of a daughter, I wish that existed today where like, you got to come through me. Oh my God.
Well, I do remember because my voice changed at 11 years old. Dad, I'm like 16 talking to the girl goes to school with me, 10th grade over at North High. Dad comes by and goes, Jesus Christ, how old are you? You sound like you're about 40. It's like, yeah, well, I'm not. Okay, leave me alone, you pill. I thought I was like somebody's dad calling his daughter for a date.
That's super funny.
Why are you calling my high school daughter?
Exactly. And by the way, I never got the date either. That one. So, it's strike two.
You probably were doing the Catman bit with her, the pre-Catman, when you were just Kitten Man before you became Catman.
Kitten Man. There's no question. That's Jim Chanel. That was his idea to call me Catman. And
I will never not be entertained by that was your
Catman.
name. It's so freaking awesome.
But I would get calls from people, and a lot of people, because of the tone of my voice and all the rest of us, thought that I was black.
Yeah.
They just did. They always did, and all the rest of it. So I would get calls like every night. Catman, what be your sign? Asking me for my sign. I don't even. Is Scorpio? Is that a sign, or is that
the 70s? Yes, Scorpio would have been of course Scorpio. I don't know what it means, but that's definitely a sign. So you asked about the weather. I suppose I better tell you about that.
Yeah.
Could be 2 to 4 inches in parts of the Twin Cities today.
Oh my God! Don't say that.
Mainly west side, northwest, kind of based on what our weather guys are saying. Less east side, less Wisconsin. So just think of like, the quadrant of 394, 35, sort of out that way, and then up towards the northwest and up 35 kind of sounds like where they're at. It's going to be real weird though. And it's going to be a thunder snow. So whenever, I don't know if you guys recall, but whenever that happens, it can always be like a weird amount of snow. But then on the other hand, it might not be snow at all a mile over. So it's going to be one of those kind of weird weather things. It's supposed to all be done by 6, and the bulk of it from 10 to 4.
Okay.
So
that makes total sense to me. That's
the deal there. It was, and for what it's worth, the guys in the weather center have been talking about this the last couple of days. This system that was down in Iowa turned into more of than what they thought it was. And that's sort of what was the dynamic to make the snow turn into a thing. So just for what it's worth. So because I know there's going to be some people are going to be like, where the hell did this come from? But it has been being discussed.
So 2 to 4 inches.
And that's very hit or miss in the Twin Cities. Like I would say it's less of a chance of that, but it's possible. So
not 3 feet like in 91.
No, it's not going to be that. There does not sound a scenario where that's going to happen. But
I always did love Halloween, man. Going to Catholic school, St. Joe's back in the day, we celebrated Halloween like there was no tomorrow. Love Halloween.
Are you going out with the grandkids tonight?
Nope, because it's going to be snowing. Well, also we don't live. They live. Andy and Alex both live about 20 minutes on either side of us.
So you can't really. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, I could, but I'm not going to. What do you think of that action? Take that home with you.
I went to bed at like 6:30 last year on Halloween because and I'm like, I'm good. I'm just gonna go to bed. I don't care. It's fine. So
people don't do the trick thing anymore, I'm assuming, because too many people have pistols now that they love to shoot other people.
Or Ring cameras, which I think a lot of people have cameras on their porches now. So that definitely takes the whole trick piece out of it a little bit. But
you know that we used to have a Ring camera on one of our houses and I didn't even know it because I never came to our front door. So I had no idea we even had the thing.
Oh, really?
I was like, what the hell was that? Yeah, I had no clue because I didn't go to our front door. Why would I go to our front door?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
It's all true. Man, what are you going to do? So another brilliant report, I thought.
Yep. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow. And I hope you survive the 2 to 4 inches.
We could take that a much different way.
We could. And as it came out of my mouth, I realized that. So
I saw the look on your face, actually. Thank you, sir.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. So we got to take a break. We got some guests coming in. I assume they'll be in there. It all depends on if they can get through these storms or not.
Depends on how well they're taking that 2 to 4 inches.
It's now down to 38 degrees and raining.
Oh, my God. I should have more and more layers.
I got 3 layers on, Pally.
I'm really regret. I was like, you know what? It's not going to be that bad. It'll by the time I'm back outside, it'll be what? Nope, not even close.
Nope. Not happening.
No.
All right, we'll take a break and be coming right back. We have some guests coming up this morning. Of course, Kristen Burt coming up this morning. Lots of stuff to cover. We'll be right back. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank all our listeners for all your continued support. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products some of you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towel sets, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% off select items. You're looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of MyPillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Well, we are back. Well, some of us
Some of us
are back.
Yeah.
Everybody else just abandoned us. Tom is out of where he is. Is Jesse out in the?
Jesse's out. He's quenching his thirst.
Is Robert with him?
Robert's stuck in a snowbank, from my understanding. And Tom's unwedging him, so they're going to be in here any second.
A little rain falls and everything just goes to shit on the show.
Oh my gosh!
But I guess what's to do with you? What do you have anything to talk about as we tap dance for?
Let me ask you this:
15 minutes?
Yeah. Let me ask you this: when's the last time you played paintball?
Oh God! Like I'll never.
Yeah, right.
Is that still a thing?
I found out it was this past weekend. So my buddy is getting married here in like January,
Mm-hmm.
but he had like a bachelor party weekend or whatever. And one of the things that I don't know what, because he used to do it, I guess. I never went with him like in high school or like middle school.
Yeah.
But he's like, we're taking everybody paintballing. So this past weekend, it was me and like a bunch of other dudes, like late 20s, early 30s, just renting out. We went to Splat Ball in Minneapolis.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played paintball, but I had a friend. My closest thing to paintball, I had a friend in high school that his parents moved to Stillwater from Osceola, and they left him at their old house.
Yeah,
and so he turned their backyard into this huge paintball thing. But he ended up burning his house down because he was growing weed in the basement, and so one of the lamps caught on fire.
Are you talking about Jesse?
Yeah, no, not Jesse. I mean, maybe
you're not.
Maybe who knows?
Jesse.
Ladies and gentlemen, I went for a walk and I turned the corner down there. I have to pee, of course, but you know, because I may as well tell these guys, just get it off the plate. So I'm sitting here on Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got my legs crossed like this, and I'm talking and I got a Diet Pepsi, last one I'm ever going to drink in my life because I love it, but it's far too addicting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there with my Pepsi, and I'm talking to this guy, and as I take a drink, it slips, and about 8 ounces of it dumped right in my lap. By the time it was done spreading, I looked like I peed my pants like a madman.
Sure.
So now,
Yeah.
Doug Sprinthal put up on social media that I did pee my pants. Thank you so much, Doug. I really appreciate it. Really a thrill for me. That's all I have to say.
So that was the last. You didn't get another Diet Pepsi after that? That was how you went out?
No, that was going to be the last, because Catherine gets something and goes, seriously, you get so jacked up because there's a lot of caffeine in it, I guess, and all the rest of it. So I guess I do get really jacked up.
So now it's just Monster Energy drinks, or
no, it's Monster Energy drinks. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? I could see it. It'd be me on a Monster Energy drink could go over really huge.
Are you allowed any caffeine? Can you do coffee?
I did coffee, but I literally, there were times when I would drink like a 12-pack of soda in a day.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a problem.
It really is. That's what happened to my personality.
Well, Jesse, you're a therapist. Maybe
you didn't even try to argue that with me. You see that? Nice. Nice, Robert. I'm not talking to you. Forget it.
Well, this should be an interesting podcast then.
So would you just feel your heart do it after 12? After downing 12?
Maybe. I just thought it was,
maybe.
I just thought I was pissed off. You know, that's my usual deal. I was pissed off at somebody about something. But okay, where are you guys appearing? I want to know right now. Let's go.
What was that?
Where are you appearing?
Where are we appearing? At Laugh Camp Comedy Club in St. Paul, Friday night at 9:30. Yep.
I'm glad Saturday. You said Saturday night?
No, Friday night. Did I say
Friday night,
Saturday?
tomorrow night. 9:30,
Tomorrow night.
yeah, and it's
Tomorrow night.
it's therapy and politics.
Yeah.
Oh God, is there such a thing?
What a combo.
Is there such a thing as getting therapy from politics? These people have lost their mind. I'm glad you brought that up, Jesse the Shrink.
I thought you might like the topic.
And by the way, you're only about half an hour away from Gelfand, hanging all over. Gelfand thinks you're God. I don't know what that's all about. What's that all about?
I don't know, but I'm flattered.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. You're flattered by being fabulous. But no, as a shrink, and you really are, it's not just a made up name. What is wrong with people? Oh my God. I just, why does everyone want to be so pissed off? I don't want to be mad. You know what I mean? I don't want to be angry every day. People love being angry.
Yep.
Do they think it shows that they care, or what is that?
I suppose it could be a sense of people feel a sense of purpose. I mean, Robert and I were talking here on the drive here about, and Tom, I mentioned this to you last time. I think there's right now there's a lot of people pissed off because there's a tribal nature that we have. And we have people that are tapping into that tribal nature. This is a perspective I have. It's very effectively tapping into it. There's a lot of a feeling of us versus them right now, and I'm right and you're not. You're a threat. No, I'm not. You're a threat.
I know. A threat.
It's a big snowball effect, and we're feeling it.
Garbage. Everybody's. I think it's funny that the two attacks that have hit the hardest have been weird and garbage. And
it's
like
you're weird and you're garbage.
This is like pre-kindergarten. Like
is.
Weird and garbage. That's what you're taking personally. Everything else, weird and garbage are what have seemed to have drawn the most blood from.
What has changed? Because I got to tell you, back in the day, and I only bring this up because it did happen. Back in the day when Howard Stern came to this market, I ignored him. Didn't bring him up ever. Right? The only show that ever beat him was my show because I ignored him. If you embrace these people, they're just going to come after you even harder, make you look the worst they possibly can. If I ran for president, I wouldn't even admit anybody else was running. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. Part of it is that the media focuses on the horse race. Like I think it's hard not. It would be hard to ignore your opponent because that's the whole nature of it is designed for the tribalism and the us versus them and stuff. But I was going to make one other point before you mentioned the Howard Stern thing. But,
so I ruined your delivery. Is that what you're saying?
No, not at. I'm still acclimating to.
Well, as you're doing that, I'll really quick say, because maybe this just fuels it or whatever. Is you touched on the media thing, is where I can't help but notice. We know that that's what brings the attention in the media. They know that it's a fact, right? You give a positive headline, it's not going to bring as much attention. You bring a negative headline, it's going to bring attention. And I literally saw a headline the other day about how. It was a headline about how we shouldn't keep bringing so much attention to the negativism of Trump and all of that stuff. It was literally a headline saying we should no longer be making this a headline. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Like it's that much of a draw that they just can't stop themselves. And I saw that in 2016, 2020. And now I look and I'm like, it's the same.
Well, it is. It is like the Super Bowl for cable news.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, it's great. They get to have their numbers up there and Kornacki's got the big board and, Trump took Ohio. Yeah. And then it's like, it's sport for them. I mean, I had a college professor who one of his big sayings was that, and I think he got it from somebody else, but like politics is sport for people that don't have a football team to cheer for, where it is like Sunday night football, Monday night football, where it's the two sides. They got the captains, the field generals and stuff, and it's all about who wins and who loses versus trying to find ways to come together and stuff. But that's part of the frustrating thing with doing political comedy, is because there's so much tribalism where if you do a joke about Trump or you do a joke about Kamala or whatever, then like the other side is like way too into it. And then their side is like, how dare you point at it? And it's like, relax. it's just jokes. Like, come on. But
yeah. And to what degree do people see what you're talking about with what is politics? A lot of politics, the sports analogy.
Yeah.
A lot of politics, it's kind of like a chess game. The things certain politicians will say, it's a very strategic thing. They may or may not think it. They may or may not believe it. It's how often can you step back and see those pieces moving to not get sucked into some of where they're trying to tap into emotions, or, that can be elicited. How often do you see it? How often can you be removed and go, oh, I see what they're doing right there?
I don't really understand why, first of all, a comedian would go up on stage and call Puerto Rico garbage and floating garbage. And then the current president calls the other guys voters garbage. Why would either one of you do that?
Well, for Tony, I think it's just he's a roast guy, and it's more. Jon Stewart had a good thing on this
he did?
on the Daily Show. Yeah, where he kind of defended Tony a little bit. We're like, he's a roast comic. Like, you have a roast comic at a political. I mean, they apparently vetted his stuff where it's like, okay, well, if you're fighting tooth and nail in these battleground states, maybe you don't have the guy shit on. I can say that, right? This podcast.
Yeah.
Have them. Well, I said garbage already, so that's the worst thing I can say. You can say shit. Don't say the G word. Or W. Don't go G or W. You can. But so I think he was. Maybe you don't have him roast a demographic you're trying to win. And then Biden misspoke, which he misspeaks all the time. But because Republicans were on the defensive over that, they're like, well, then so it's a wash. It's, like the football thing where, like, Biden's going to fumble verbally 1,000 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, they had no problem ignoring him before. But when he says that, it's like, okay, well, then it's even. See, left, right, same thing.
I don't even think it's even, because one guy's a comedian, the other guy's just an asshole.
Well, I mean, the comedian's also an asshole too.
I would agree with that, but I didn't want, in front of two comedians, I wouldn't call a comedian probably an asshole because I'm far too polite.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, that's definitely.
Robert is convinced of that. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think a lot, and part of that too is I think there's two different tracks. There's the track going on where it's like political junkies, and it's every little nuance, every little they clash, and your average voter isn't paying attention to any of that stuff.
I think that's true, because I don't usually watch that stuff. I only see it on the news later.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch any of these rallies that they all put on. I have not watched one of them because it's just not my kind of deal. I just, I'll go vote. Wait a minute. What do we got?
Oh,
look who's calling me.
Is it? Oh, Washington, D.C. Put them on.
Do you think I should maybe?
Absolutely.
Want me to go answer it and see if?
Yeah. Go answer it. We'll vamp. We'll stretch.
Who's this?
This
is it said Washington, D.C. So my guess is
that of the United States.
It could be a former or a current or Michael Cohen. Is he out of prison?
This show's about to blow up.
Yeah. And with have you guys crossed paths with Tony and done like any work with him ever?
No, I haven't.
And is a political rally on your bucket list of ideal places to do a comedy show? Because that feels like a terrible gig, other than just being in front of millions of people. Seems like a terrible gig to take on.
I mean, it's not a place where I think you're going to have a good set, no matter what you do. Just by the sheer nature of, I mean, especially his kind of style, where there's kids. He even talked about it. There's kids there. It's like the morning. Like no comedian wants to do that anyway. My own version of it a few weeks ago, I was in Los Angeles and I got booked to host. It was back to back. It was weekends of like this tiny film festival.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted me to do stand up. And I was like, okay, because I wanted to get paid, but I'm like, this isn't going to go well. Everyone's nervous about winning and stuff. And like, yeah, sure enough, I went up there and I bombed like 10 minutes both times. But like, that's the gig, right? It's like, well, I'll get paid. This isn't going to go well. But I'm enough of a masochist where like, if it's a comedy club and I'm not having a good set, then I might turn on the crowd a little bit.
Yeah.
But if it's a performance where I know this comedy, I don't know why you want this, but like, it's not going to go well. And then it doesn't go well. Like objectively in my mind, I'm like, this is funny. Like if someone were to see this, I mean, I think what I'm saying is funny, but the fact that what I'm saying is funny and no one here is laughing is also funny to me. But you just kind of have to recalibrate and stuff. But like, I think you getting back to the Tony thing. I mean, it was pretty clear. Like, okay, if it like go after Hillary, go after Joe, go after Bill Clinton, go after like there's pretty easy targets where you're not going to alienate anybody. But instead he goes after a demographic that, okay, so you claim, and I don't think he was a left-wing plant, but you because the Trump team vetted what he was going to say.
That's what I'll say. Because like,
where it was like, what kind of conspiracy? Like, are you kidding me?
Because if you go on like late night, you have to submit your set. They go, okay, yes, no, rewrite. And so I would assume for a political rally, they'd have some sort of thing where somebody goes, yes, no. Like nobody flagged the Puerto Rico line, or did he? There's no way that slipped through.
Well, to be fair, they probably, I mean, we've all heard the shit that Trump has said the last, however, 12 years he's been running, where I'm sure they were just like, whatever. But I mean, that was getting back to the sports thing. That was just like a fumble where Democrats were like, oh shit, and then they picked it up and ran. And I think it just so happened that it was coordinated with some of the Puerto Rican celebrities, Jennifer Lopez and Bad Bunny, who were probably going to endorse her anyway. But then it's like, well, now it's this national cause. Puerto Ricans are very proud of their Puerto Rican heritage. And so then it just became a matter of like, okay, well, now you're not a self-respecting Puerto Rican if you don't. And that injected itself into the campaign. But
I think that black people took a punch because he covered it up later by asking a black man to eat watermelon with him, and nobody cared about that one. What about that?
Well, the watermelon joke is that's like a hack joke now at this point. So like, come with some new jokes.
Okay, I got to play you guys something.
Okay,
this is what I heard when I called him back.
Okay,
it's not going to surprise you at all. Are you going to be on there?
Trump National Committee. If you would like to make a donation over the phone, press 1.
I get the Trump National Committee, and if you want to make a donation, Tom, no, I do not.
I get the text differences are hilarious because I'll get one from the Harris campaign, and it's like, we're in dire need, we're neck and neck, and then I get one from Trump that's just please. That's
he does say please.
Please with an exclamation point. That's like all it is.
Yeah. Well, and his net worth is $8 billion. Like fund your own campaign.
Give yourself $1 billion.
Yeah,
that's very, very true. Yeah, so we're almost through. What, got 5 days left?
5, and then the the next 3 months will still be, because like if Trump loses, he's not going to admit that he lost. So then we'll have, is it going to be certified? Is it, so the idea that it's going to end, I think, is also a little pie in the sky, unless it's just such a decisive victory, then it's going to, well, that's what I mean. So unless that's the case, that he didn't admit, he still won't admit that he lost the last election. So he's not going to admit that he loses this one. And so until, I mean, if he wins, Kamala's, I don't think she's going to dispute the election. So then that won't be an issue. But if she wins, then I don't think it's going to be settled, and we'll be able to be like, until after, January 20th of 2025. And then it's getting ready for the midterms. Cause that's the other thing. This election, there's one every 2 years. There's one every 4 years for the president. So, I mean, part of it's the reason people are stressed out and there's all this anxiety is because it's like the most important election of our lifetimes, which happens every 4 years.
That's where they are telling everybody though. They're telling everybody that's true. I got to be honest with you, looking at both of them. I mean, I know Donald Trump, so it's not like we're best friends or anything, but I know him, but I've never met Kamala Harris. And I do say her name properly. I don't call her Kamala like everybody else does, but
Kamala. Yeah.
they're just not my kind of people. I'm sorry. They're just not. I don't know if you could run somebody for president. I could go, that's my kind of person right there.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It attracts people that, want power and fame or
Have you ever had somebody in your lifetime, Tom, that was president or that ran for president that you did feel that way about?
I did, and that's what changed my political views forever. because as a little Catholic boy I believe I was 11 years. No, I was only 9 years old at the time. John F. Kennedy got elected president of the United States. So I, of course, dive as deeply as I possibly can into John F. Kennedy and what he's all about and all the rest of it. Took me about an hour to find out that his family was involved with the mafia. So that was a little hard for me to deal with.
Wow.
And since then, I haven't trusted any of them.
Huh.
I mean,
how old were you?
9.
9. So at 9 years old, there's no point. Little 9-year-old
just puts out a cigarette.
I was about to say, yeah, you got like a paper, you put the cigarette down.
My political world changed at the age
I
of
brought it
9.
up. I was at St. Joseph's School. Or no, I'm sorry. Was I at St. Joe's or St. Anne's? I was at one of those two schools, but I brought it up in class, and I was literally told to shut up by the priest. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean shut up? Well, he's Catholic, Ixday. It's like, yeah, well, the whole mafia is Catholic. So what's that got anything to do with it?
Right.
Yeah, politicians are just not my kind of people. I have friends that have held political office before and all the rest of it, but they're just, they're nice people. They're just so much money grubbing going on. I mean, how much is it now? $1.5 billion being spent on this election?
Yeah, it's its own.
Jesus.
It's its own industry.
It is.
I mean, it really is.
Yep. And that I find upsetting. Could we actually focus on helping the people instead of just bullshitting them all the way through it?
That's you can go back to like Citizens United, the Supreme Court decision, where money became speech, and it's like, sorry, it's not speech. So now it's completely unregulated. Where it's like, speech is speech. Corporations aren't people. Money isn't speech. And if you regulated it and you kept it fair and you capped it, then you wouldn't need all this stuff. But
right. They won't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is.
Right.
Well, the world is changing so incredible. I'm not going to go too deeply into this because it makes me sad, actually. But I looked at some numbers in the last couple of days. When I was a young man, you got all your information from television, radio, and the newspapers.
When you were a young, jaded 9-year-old.
9-year-old.
After
I was only 3 then, I think.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Back when you still had hope.
Well, I taught myself to read when I was 3 and 4 years old. That was a huge mistake. That was a huge mistake.
Teaching yourself to read.
Yeah.
Just read way too much too young.
Because absolutely. Well, the reason I did is because my father was schizophrenic and they put him in an institution, took him away in a straitjacket. I was 7 then, though. I wasn't 3 or 4. So, but I mean, watching that whole thing, although I did get a laugh out of it, because my sister Bobby looked at me while they were hauling him out in the street, and he's foaming at the mouth and he's yelling and screaming. And my sister Bobby looked at me and said, "Tommy, I think they think our dad is nuts." I started laughing, right?
Yeah.
And I think maybe that might have been the day that I decided I have to get a job where there's a lot of laughing in order to deal with life.
Yeah.
Sure.
Did you think a lot of comedians become comedians for that very same reason? I got to laugh or I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a lot of that.
I'm going to laugh or I'm going to cry, or I'm going to laugh and that stops this other person from crying.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It alleviates pain one way or the other.
Has anybody ever took a deep dive into what stand-up comedy really is all about? Why? And it is very necessary that we have stand-up comedians. And certainly in my life, comedy was everything to me. I mean, I still think Don Rickles should have been president of the United States, but that's just me.
It's interesting because I do think they're also, while it's true, a lot of really good comedians were damaged people and use comedy as therapy or a way to process that. I do think sometimes, though, there is this kind of fetishization or, romanticism of like the damaged people finding ways to make people laugh and deal with their own demons. Because there are a fair amount of people, too, like Jerry Seinfeld or Dennis Miller, who are well-adjusted and just funny. And it isn't some compulsion that like, oh, I'm secretly a monster and I have to make amends, or, the only way I can feel loved is if I make strangers laugh. And it's more just like, no, I'm pretty good with a joke and I like this more than any other work, so I'm going to do this instead. And so I I think comedy that comes from pain is certainly more powerful than like pithy observations or whatever. But I don't think that, that you can like, generalize about like, well, every comedian has like this messed up background or is whatever either.
Yeah. No question about it. I know we got to take a break here in a second. So you want to just take that one break and then go into Kristen, or do you want to?
Yeah, we only need to get one before Kristen.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure of that situation, but it just, the whole thing, the thing about comedy it's always been very, very important.
And
what if we didn't have it? Think about it.
And I was just sitting there thinking, like, going on the deeper level of why. Sometimes I'll do this. I'll watch a room of people laughing, and I'll think, why do we have this in us?
Absolutely.
What is this, right? It's not just on the surface. What is it? Is it an instinct that evolved to help us cope with pain?
Yeah.
Is it not necessarily just that? That's part of it. Sometimes we just need brevity with things, but there's a magic too. You can get a room full of people to be in one quiet, focused mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can predictably get it where that brain, and you get to watch it.
That's
amazing. Watch the brain thing go, and they'll go, ha, 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 ha.
Well, because I think it's the antithesis of what elections do, is because comedy does kind of unite people, where it's like you talked about, okay, we're all in a room. It's a communal thing, but unlike church or anything else where you're preaching anything, or it's a way of uniting and coming together, different backgrounds, different demographics, different beliefs, but like laughing and sharing a similar experience. And then through, hopefully, like with this, therapy and politics show or whatever. I mean, ideally you get people that will, laugh at their politics or stop taking it as seriously as they are taking it. We're like, let's all admit that we don't know. And this is funny and this is funny. And,
well, and that reminds me of that was one of the things when you and I first talked about the idea of doing this show. There's something about it I could feel of like, I don't know how this is going to go. This is a new thing for us to do, especially on the heels of a big election. But what I can picture is, including like sessions with my therapy clients I'm doing, talking to family and friends, there's a built up pressure right now that people are feeling.
Yeah.
So the idea that Robert and I can come together and go, you know what, on a Friday night with all the stress people are feeling, like come together with a therapist and a comedian and let's just let some stuff out. And I don't know how it's going to go, but that's what I picture. I picture it's a catharsis. There's a laughter that's going to come, and it's going to feel like a much needed relief.
No question about that.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. Be right back. Kristen Burt will join us. And both of you insist you not talk about my pee stain.
Okay.
Because she's been talking about it for 2 days now. Stabbing me
the
right.
Stain heard around the world.
The stain heard around the world. We'll be right back. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant,
I hosted my show on the radio for 40 years. Now I host the Tom Barnard Podcast, and I'll tell you, I've never seen the passion and engagement from our audience as I do now. I know we also have businesses that listen to our podcast, and it got me thinking, wouldn't it be great to help those businesses grow by telling my listeners about them? So here's the deal. If you own or handle marketing for a business, would like to have my audience buy your product or service, visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and we'll put together an ad campaign to help your business. That's TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and thank you for listening.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
It is indeed. Chris and I have to show you something. You ready?
Yes.
That's Andy's yard.
Is that snow?
Yes, it is. He's already gotten like 3 inches of snow at his house, and it wasn't even supposed to start snowing for another like 10 hours.
Not on Halloween.
Oh yeah. And so I don't know what we're going to do about a family show because nobody's coming in for it. So I could just sit here by myself and go, "Hey kids, how you doing?"
Can't everyone zoom in?
The 91 snowfall on Halloween because that's
3 feet.
Yep.
3 feet of snow on 1991 Halloween, and now we're going to get today. It looks like maybe about a half a foot, something like that. Who knows how much we're going to get?
It's not warm in LA. It's 46 degrees right now, too, by the way.
What's that?
It's 46 degrees right now in LA.
In LA, it's 46?
Yeah.
Holy Hannah.
Right now. I mean, it's going to warm up to 71, but that's not that warm for us.
Okay, so Kristen, just to kind of melt the snow, we brought in 2 smart-ass comedians just to attack you during your entire report.
I'm familiar with them. They're not going to attack me.
Yeah, there you go.
I like your little was that a Halloween sweater?
Yeah, it's a little black kitty. It's my hoodie.
A little black kitties. Do.
Oh, very festive.
Very nice. No question about it.
That brought out a collective. Oh,
I know. What is that? All of a sudden, I'm like a little baby with my hoodie on.
Baby hoodie. So when's the last time you went trick-or-treating? Last year?
When I was 12, I think that was the last year I went trick-or-treating.
I was 11.
Yeah.
Because I got yelled at constantly because I grew to be over 6 feet tall and I weighed about 200 pounds and I was 11 years old. And they said, "Get the hell out of here."
I was
'Cause
12
you were
and
in a
looked
costume
8.
on top of it. You were 8?
No, I was 12 and looked 8.
Oh, you
was
looked like you're
always
yeah.
so small.
Yeah.
I was in middle school looking, everyone was growing and I'm like the little one in the front. It was really sad.
I'm going to try to phrase this so it's not offensive to anyone. Is it still okay to call people little people, or don't they like that anymore either?
Yeah, I think that's preferred over any other.
Any other thing?
Yeah.
We had a little person in our neighborhood. He was
Munchkins. You call him Munchkin.
Munchkin. Okay, it was a Munchkin.
Munchkin American. Yeah.
And he every Halloween dressed up in a costume because he was the height of about probably a 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And he would go out and do this kind of thing, trick or treat. And the guy's he's like 40 years old.
Wow.
I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. Getting all this free
Trick-or-treating
candy.
is fun.
Oh, it is. Oh, trick or treating is a lot. Well, it depends on where you are, though.
Yeah, if you're in LA, it's going to be chilly tonight for LA. I understand you guys have snow. It's all relative, but some years it's been like 80 or 90. It's like everyone's melting in their costumes, and your pumpkins start like puckering and like caving in on themselves because it's too hot.
That's one thing about growing up in the inner city. It's kind of nice because you can go to knock on some doors, and there's somebody's grandpa there trying to hand shots to little kids. Here, have a shot of whiskey. Like, what are you doing? What are you?
Now they do trunk or treat, and I don't think that's as fun.
What is that?
Yeah, what is it?
You guys don't do trunk or treat in Minnesota?
No.
So a lot of neighborhoods have shut down trick or treating. They just don't want the crowds and everything. So like either like a couple days before Halloween, they will like all go to like, let's say Ralph's, which is our grocery store, and you'll go to a parking lot and you decorate your car and people trick or treat out of the trunk of your car.
I think more inconvenient than just having people show up at your house.
Yeah.
I think Ted Bundy started that.
Yeah,
he did.
I think so.
It was mostly trick. It was mostly trick. It was help me with my dog, and then
they do it during the daytime. Like it's done for like safety for everyone, but they started it during the pandemic. The trunk or treat out here in California became very popular because it was outside, and people could just like run in and like grab the treat and run off.
Now, the two of you, the rest of my day, because the two of you hunyucks, I'm going to be hearing in my head, it puts the lotion in the basket. Gee, thank you. Thank you so much. What movie was that again?
Silence of the Lambs. Because I mentioned Ted Bundy. Was like, I don't know where that came from. That was
I don't know. I still have Bridesmaids, so I can sing that from SNL.
You're good to go.
Domingo. That sticks in your head.
I'm very pissed off that I don't get to trick or treat anymore. That's all I have to say.
Why don't you take your
Nothing's
grandkids?
stopping you.
I don't get. I want the candy.
what's
I'm not going
stopping
to get
you?
it for them.
Yeah, but why aren't you taking your grandkids out and then let your kids just sit at the door and man their trick or treaters?
Let me show the answer why I'm not taking the kids trick or treating.
Yeah, you should go.
No.
Go dressed as
In
Tom.
a normal year, not in a snowy year, but in a normal year.
No, Tom, you've put in enough years taking your own kids trick or treating that they can take their
Yes,
kids.
I agree.
Trick or treating. Yeah.
I would love to take people's. If someone does not want to take their kids trick or treating, send them my way. I will go out with them.
Kristen, you should go trick or treating this year. You throw on that hoodie, and everybody, when you get to the door, they're gonna go, "Oh!"
I do have kitty ears I can wear too, and then put on like
kitty
little
ears.
nose and whiskers.
There you go.
The neighborhood, like right behind mine, is like one of those that everyone gets dumped into, and they give out like the full size candy bars. So it wouldn't be a bad idea.
I just got a call from my attorney. This is not a good idea. This can't be good.
On Halloween, you get a call from your
In the
attorney.
middle of the show, what did you say, Tom?
I get a call from the former president. I don't know. I must have said something because my attorney just I should say one of my attorneys because I have to have more than one. I wonder why that is. But anyway, moving forward. So what else is going on, sister?
Well, lots going on here in Hollywood. And I think like the big move, and we've talked a lot about this on the show, saying like award shows need to move. They need to move to streaming because no one's watching them on broadcast.
Oh, really?
ABC got their hands on the Grammys. So they will be having them on 2027 for like a decade. But it's moving to Disney Plus. It'll live stream across all of their platforms. So you'll be able to get it on ABC, Disney Plus, and Hulu, which makes sense because someone like me, I don't have any broadcast channels anymore. So if you want me to watch the Oscars, if you're not streaming it, so that's why they're starting to really move things. But CBS has had the Grammys for 54 years.
Yeah.
And ABC outbid them. So I cannot imagine how much money changed hands for that. But ABC will also be doing a series of music specials with the Grammy organization. So I think they probably sweetened the deal with that.
I got to make sure I did this. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Devin, did you say somebody was coming in for the family show?
Yes.
Would you
Should we
mind? Tell them to not
F
come
off?
because there won't be anybody here.
All right.
Because you don't want me running that equipment where AJ said you don't want me touching that stuff. I'll guarantee you that. It would never work again. I can promise you that. Now, I wonder if it's snowing where we are right now. I assume it must. Well, although Andy's 20 miles west of us, so maybe not. But I don't know, Kristen. You leave town and look what happens to the weather.
I've been gone 20 years.
That's what I'm saying. Typical.
It's been hell ever since.
You moved away from here 20 years ago?
I was only there for 2 years. So I came from LA to Minneapolis back to LA. I was
tell 'em.
not built for Minnesota.
Why don't you tell them the magnificent person you worked for while you were here?
Well, one of the jobs I had 2 jobs while I was here, but one of the jobs was as Jesse Ventura's newsreader on his show.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow, that was what era?
That was 2003.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2003. So it was a while ago. He was post governor though, but I had to call him governor.
I still love the fact that I haven't talked to Jesse.
He doesn't have time to bleed.
He does not have time to bleed.
He doesn't have time to
Ain't
bleed.
got time to bleed. But you know what? Back in the day when I used to hang out with Jesse and all the rest, I haven't talked to him in a long time now, but he would call me and go, "Hey, Tom, it's Jesse." Yeah, I know. Right. I don't think you have to tell me who it is.
Yeah, that voice is, I mean, you can hear it coming a mile away.
Yeah, you sure can.
And yeah, I mean, he only wanted to tell stories about his Navy SEAL days. So there you go.
The
no
Navy
wrestling.
SEAls.
Yeah.
No, he didn't
I
want
used
to
to
talk
pee in
about
my wetsuit to stay warm, Kristen.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of governors in that Predator movie. A lot of governors.
Really?
Yeah, Arnold.
Yeah, Arnold?
Yeah.
That's right.
Mhm.
I forgot about that.
Multiple governors in Predator.
And when I was working with Jesse, at the time we were recalling Gray Davis in California. It was right around that time. And that paved the way for Arnold to run for governor. I'm sure that they spoke about it behind the scenes.
Probably, yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, I'm sure Arnold went and, spoke with him just asking for some advice of like what to do. I mean, Arnold knows what to do, but I'm sure he took advice from Jesse.
Well, yeah, when I was in college, I did my senior thesis on celebrity politicians, and this was before Trump.
Oh, really?
But, yeah, because it's I mean, you can go back to 1960 when you became disillusioned with politics.
At 9.
At 9.
When he threw in the towel on politics.
When it became TV, and it was just how you looked and performed on TV, and celebrities, by their very nature of being entertainers and stuff, are going to have an advantage in how they come across, how they sound. You look at Reagan versus Jimmy Carter, and Reagan was an actor, and it was just like, oh, all we have to do is just give him the script and he can play the role of president, And so
Sonny Bono,
yeah.
Fred Grandy from The Love Boat, he went on to Congress.
Fred
as well.
Thompson, the guy that was on Law and Order, and I mean, he flamed out pretty quickly in 2012 or whenever when he ran for president. But yeah, I mean, there's several of them.
Yeah, no question about it. I don't know. It's like I said, it's not my cup of tea, but
It's almost over. I have in my head, I keep on 5 more days, I cannot wait for this election to be over.
Do you think though, because it's been speculated, there's some speculation out there that this is not going to end on November 5th. That depends on who wins. I think no matter who wins, it's going to be a massive pain in the ass.
I think it is going to be a mess. I'm working for Decision Desk on election night. So I will be doing Decision Desk. HQ is the one who called the election in 2020 for.
What's you going to cheat?
No, I'm not. And in fact, I think in 2020, because I've done the midterm elections for them too. I've done some of the primaries, but I did reporting for them in 2020. And I think I had Missouri, because they usually give you a state that you're not in. And being in Missouri, I was calling these tiny little counties. I was calling Marge at town hall, and they're hand counting ballots. They're not, I live in Los Angeles. Everything's electronic. It's like a huge iPad, and you submit your ballot if you go in person. And I mean, they're like, we're going to be up all night counting, and she would give me updates every hour, okay, here's where we are at this point. I mean, I'd have to call on a phone because they didn't even have a website updating their election results. It was crazy.
Unbelievable. That's all I have to say.
It almost makes you yearn for the days when it was Clinton versus Gore, The Simpsons, or not Clinton versus Gore, Clinton versus Dole.
Yeah.
Because The Simpsons made fun of it, where it's the candidates are basically the same. And it's man, it'd be nice to have an election again where no matter who wins, not that much is going to change. Where okay, that does, that doesn't sound bad. Both of them will admit defeat. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't need historic times. I am done living through historical events. I was just in the hurricane. I'm done. I'm done with all of that.
The guy,
boring.
One of my favorite things about him was his
Dole.
name? Yeah, Bob Dole.
Bob Dole. Yep.
So
Viagra pitchman.
Running for president, he called into my show over at KQRS back in the day, and he said the following. So I said, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, I'm just so happy to be on my favorite radio station. I listen to it every morning. I love KORS.
Oh. Hard to believe you lost.
Let's check for the little click on the bottom there. You don't want, you got to make sure you got the right call letters, don't you? I mean, you just have to.
Yeah.
KORS. I will never.
You're in Chicago. A beer.
Tom,
exactly.
Bannard.
Tom Brainerd. Unbelievable. No,
but you have to remember, elections were Dan Quayle misspelling potatoes, and was it Mitt Romney who had the binders full of women? Does anyone remember that?
Full of women, and then I think he had he put a dog on the top of the car for a car ride, and they attacked him for that.
Yeah, and he would pee on the roof of the vehicle as they were heading down the freeway. I remember that was bizarre.
The dog would?
The dog, yeah.
Oh
they
my
drove
God.
across the country, and they just put him up on the roof and strapped him in there, and he'd have to go to the bathroom up there. And
Very odd.
Very weird.
Very strange.
Yeah.
But his binder's full of women. I believe it has its own Wikipedia entry if you go and look it
does.
up.
I'm looking at it right now. That's wild.
I'm trying to remember the context. What was the context?
He was debating Obama. I think it was the second debate with him and Obama. And I don't know. I think there was just something about diversity in hiring or
That's
something.
what it was.
And
Not
he
enough
defended himself.
women, I think, on
Not
his
enough
campaign
women. Yeah,
staff and things like that. I've got binders full of
defended himself.
qualified women.
I'm not sexist. I keep binders full of women.
I know. And to me, it sounds like you're like selecting a woman for the evening. Do you know what I mean?
Right. 100%.
But that's the kind of the endearing thing of Mitt, though, is because he was like this 1950s guy that was like transported to present day, where like he for all intents and purposes was a very kind he's not dead, is a nice, kind, sweet man, but he just again was kind of clunky on TV. And
I think it's in his delivery. I think he just wasn't PR polished in that way.
Yeah.
I've interviewed his wife, Ann Romney, and she is a delight. She's lovely. She's so smart. And the Romneys have done a lot in terms of donations. You know, she has, Ann Romney has MS, and she is teamed up with Maria Shriver. And they have in Boston, they have a research center where they've dumped a lot of money into research and funding for brain diseases. So.
All right, sister, any closing words?
Well, it's Halloween, so good luck with your snow and all the shoveling and all that good stuff. But if you're stuck inside, The Diplomat season 2 is out tonight on Netflix, so a fun thing to watch.
I still have one more episode of the Menendez deal. I can't wait for it to be over.
They're going to be out of prison by the time you finish the series.
Oh, I think that is true. They're going to be out of prison. But can you imagine going through what that family went to? Oh my God. Ugh.
The Menendez home, which is called the Murder Home in Beverly Hills. Yeah, it is currently being renovated by a developer, and I think it's going to sell really fast.
Really? You want to live in a murder house?
They've gutted it.
So big in this country. Absolutely. There are people.
100%. And they're going to, because it's renovated, you know, you're changing the juju of the place. You sage it, you know, you do all the stuff. And now that it's getting, you know, all this press right now with the Menendez brothers, it will sell.
Alexa, play Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, there you go.
I think it says a lot about America that we're willing to forgive the Menendez brothers before Milli Vanilli.
Girl, you know it's true. Ooh,
if that series has taught me anything, it's that the one thing the Menendez brothers hated more than their parents was body hair. My God, it was not. Just smooth, both of them.
True, very true.
Ahead of their time, actually, because in the 80s, I don't think men were shaving as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
No.
in fact, Eric was so committed he didn't have a hair on his head. That's how committed he was.
But he had it plugged in. Didn't it plug into his noggin?
It did. That was a really funny reveal when the mom just rips
It's
the.
like, what?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I better start skiing home or something.
Yeah, start shoveling. I don't know.
I don't know. Is it snowing here yet? Because
No,
Andy
I think
lives-
it's just raining right now.
okay, so we can actually make the break before it gets bad.
Yeah.
Well, happy winter to all of you in October.
Yay. Have fun trick or treating.
I'm going to bundle up in my 71 degrees because that is cold to my bones.
Boy, look at the time.
Get rid of me. I'm obnoxious. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Okay, so you guys hit the stage at what time?
9:30
tomorrow night.
9:30 tomorrow night. Laugh Camp Comedy Club in St. Paul, the patron saint of unnecessary one-way streets.
That's very true. I was just over there yesterday, as a matter of fact, and I had to go to the St. Paul Hotel, and I had to drive 4 blocks because it was all one ways.
Why? Why? It's the most ridiculous.
I know, it's true.
I just live in it. I don't even think about it
Yeah,
anymore. I've lived there for so long. I don't even think about it. I got to hear stories like that to go, oh, that is a thing, isn't it? It's just second nature to me.
Yeah, you should just be able to like, nope, all the way. You're like, come, it's not that big.
It's what makes us special.
It is what makes us
It's
special.
what makes us special in St. Paul.
Well, I don't think there's any question. It's too bad. Gelfand, I'm sure, was yearning to see you again, and he's not coming in.
Next
nobody's
time.
coming in. I'm glad that Andy called me because I would have just sat here and waited for him till the end of time. So I'm glad he called and said nobody's coming in. So you may as well head to the house, Pally.
There we go.
All right, fellas. Tomorrow night, Laugh Camp. What time?
Tomorrow night, doors are at 9:00, and
9
then show is 9:30. There's an early show there. They have a national headliner.
Ron
Feingold.
Feingold. Nobody cares about Ron.
Well, so some people will be there.
We're here for the 9:30.
Yeah. So
What a
anyway,
nice crowd.
doors at 9. Show up at 9:30. Therapy and politics, and evening with Jesse the Shrink and Robert Baril. Robert, it's going to be fun, dude. It's going to be a fun.
Yeah,
trip.
I mean, if you're ready to laugh at the the political situation, and that's you're not going to take anything too seriously, and you want to hear jokes about both sides, and that's the show for you.
My only thing is I don't know if I should give the crowd the therapy experience before you or after you.
How about both?
Should I set them? Should I maybe sandwich it? Because I feel like I should prepare them for Robert.
You can sandwich.
But afterwards,
the whole
there might need to be a little bit of like, all right, you guys, we need to process what you just.
That's
went
not a
through
bad
with
idea.
Robert.
I am gonna, I'll push them. They'll definitely,
Maybe we'll adapt.
I'll be the meat in your sandwich. Let's do it. You can, you open and close. And I'll just be in the middle for the.
I'll provide a third show. It'll just be therapy therapy after Robert Baril.
It'll be me. We'll bring out a couch and then I'll lay down and we'll just go into my head and that'll be the late show.
I love it, dude. Let's
That'll
do it.
be the deal.
Yeah. So yeah, tickets are on sale. Just go to the Laugh Camp website.
Okay, and like I said, look, election, blah blah blah, whatever it is. I'm just glad comedy still lives because I really don't think we could get through it without comedy. That's why I kind of pissed off the guy for saying what he said about the garbage deal and the watermelon and blah. It's like I'm here to feel better, not worse.
Yeah, but comedy's not going anywhere. I mean,
no, it's not.
Yeah. So I think it is kind of a uniquely American art form. I think it is one of the only uniquely American art forms is stand-up comedy.
Okay. Somebody just arrived because we're going to do 5 more minutes so they could be on.
Yeah.
Come on in so we can do 5 minutes because it's going to start snowing like a madman. We got to get out of here. Can you stay for 5 more minutes?
Oh, wow. Hey. Good to see you.
Here, take this spot.
Okay. Where are you going?
I mean, it's either they want to get his beautiful face on camera.
Oh, there are no more cameras?
Well, I mean,
no, I'm cool.
Off the.
He goes, oh, no, he's doing his hair now. It's like, okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, we're good.
What's under the hat?
Nobody is coming under the hat with hair. That's all white hair, though.
Good costume.
But no, yeah, it is a good costume. I look like a trucker. Don't think you're leaving, pal. You pill. Yeah, so there's nobody coming in. We have to leave in like 5 minutes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Really?
None of the engineers
He's not being
are coming
funny.
in. No, I'm not being funny. These guys have to get to their other job, and
that's amazing.
the other people coming in. You didn't get Tevin's message?
I reached out to Derek, or not Derek. Malcolm.
Yeah, that we pushed it late, but
Well, this morning I reached out to Malcolm because we just canceled the show, but he must have been too late to not get a hold of you.
Oh, I mean, I'll go back to bed.
No, well, can you do 5 minutes?
Absolutely.
Because we want to sell your show.
Well, let me see. Okay, I guess I can for sure.
I got to ask you guys one question as comedians, because this is a situation where we were just talking about the fact that without laughing, I don't know how the hell we'd get through this hideous stuff like national elections and things like that.
Oh, laughter is medicine.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And that's why I guess even more pissed off at the guy about an island or a pond. What was that pile of garbage? What did he call Puerto Rico?
Floating
garbage
pile of garbage? Floating island of garbage?
Which,
Floating
from his
island of
perspective,
garbage.
he said he's roasted so many people and said so
I
many
know,
things. I mean, not to like sympathy for the devil or whatever, but like they're by the grace of who knows what horrible stuff I've said to comics and roasts and stuff. And
yeah, but you don't roast a small island of beautiful people who have been devastated by natural
I agree.
disaster.
Especially when you're trying to court them for voters. If you
Bunch of
supposedly want to, I don't disagree there, but.
But I do feel like comedy should be it is the last bastion of free speech, and I do feel like you're free to say what you're going to say. I think that has to be open in comedy.
Well, that's a very good point.
Yeah,
that's a very good point. See, I'm in a situation where I talked about this yesterday, but I have a hard time with the whole thing because I had a Puerto Rican brother-in-law. And my Puerto Rican brother-in-law's name was Patrick O'Brien. So you guys figure it out.
That's
Puerto Rican on the mom's side.
You got it.
That's two oppressed people on an island.
Her name was Deadina Purcell. God, I loved that woman. It was just, well, my best friend in the world, Tommy O'Brien, one of my best friends in the world. The nice Puerto Rican kids. See, I don't get upset by stuff like that. If you want to be an ignorant asshole and call somebody this, that, or the other thing because they're, white, black, Puerto Rican, whatever, you're a moron. Why would I get upset by that?
Well, we were talking about earlier, like I posted a clip of Dennis Miller doing a thing for Mitt Romney of like, well, this is how you do it. And he made fun of like Obama or Joe Biden, where it's like, there's pretty easy, there's very easy targets that everyone's going to accept that you go after. And it's the other side, the public figures that have claimed the mantle for the other side. And you could make fun of Tim. He didn't go after Tim Walz. Like, you're a comedian and you're representing one side. Right. You don't go after the straight white guy on the other team. Like, are you new to this? Like, that's fair game.
How do you know he's a straight white guy?
He's married to a woman, so I guess I'm assuming.
And he slept with him once.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. He had no idea what he was doing. He had no idea what he was doing.
But
Now, where do you appear? Not tonight?
Yeah, this week, Acme Comedy Company, downtown.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is there any chance you can come back in tomorrow and be on the show?
Yeah.
Okay, because I assume it's not going to snow for the rest of time. So you can come in tomorrow and it'd be great.
I
you
sure
guys
hope
can come
not.
back too
If it snows, Minnesotans will be talking about it for the rest of time because it'll be the 91 and then 2024.
3 feet of snow in 1991. Where'd you grow up?
Here.
Oh, you did grow up here.
So I was there
all about
for Halloween, man. I remember.
How old are you? And so were you trick or treating?
I was.
Because I was. How old are you?
I'm 53.
Okay, yeah, I'm 47. Yeah, I remember walking through the snow doing the trick or treating.
Yeah,
Andy and Alex.
Remember you were dressed up as?
A teenager trying to get candy.
Yeah. All right, that's a good call.
Yeah,
and nothing wrong with that. I don't know why Halloween. It's one of my favorite. Of course, I grew up Catholic, so like I said, it was a big deal. Halloween was
for Catholics.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, that's loved. The schools I went. You have to remember, I grew up in North Minneapolis. Is anytime you could celebrate anything, you did it.
Okay.
Because everything else just was psychotically insane.
Yeah, and Robert, Catholicism is a religion based in fear.
Yeah,
I suppose. Yeah, that's
very
true.
good point.
Yeah.
Come on.
God, I use it all the time still. I don't know. I never got to hear any of that stuff. Toots, my mother was the Catholic. My father was Baptist, but he was nuts anyway. So, but yeah, my mother never pressed that stuff too much on us. It's like, do whatever you want.
Do you still go to service and stuff?
Nah, about once every 2 years.
Okay.
I mean, I don't mind them, but I don't like. I hate it when people use religion to judge other people. Sure. I hate that so much. Well, you shouldn't be doing that. It's like, we have different lives. We didn't grow up the same. We don't have the same experiences. Shut up. I just don't understand why people. Oh my God! Now the other side's calling me.
It's God. It's Catholic God, and he's had enough of your shit.
I just thought it was time to take your pills.
Yeah.
Well, it might be. I got to head to the house and take my pills, and it's magnificent. No, actually, I just got 3 phone calls. One was from President Trump, which I didn't get to. And then when I did call him back, it was just an ad to send him money. So I think if he
that's his
doesn't
voicemail now.
His voicemail now, send me money. No question.
Please.
Then I got a call from one of my attorneys, which cannot be good news. Yeah. And now this third one was from Philip Wise, one of my favorite people in the world. Philip was on this show for years and years and years. You would like this, I think, maybe. Well, you grew up here, maybe you know this. But about 20 years ago, they went after me and called me all these names. And oh my God, it was just horrible. Such a racist. Oh God, he's
canceling you, trying to cancel you.
Oh yeah. 4 black people on my show. How the hell was I? You got 4 black people on the show and you're a racist? I don't think so.
Yeah, but back then there wasn't cameras, so no one knew.
Yeah, maybe. And I was the one they probably thought was not the white guy. So, it all worked out in the end. But no, I just, let's have fun with all this stuff and calm the hell down, everybody. We got 5 more days? That's it.
5 more days till the election, and then 2 months of disputing the results of that election.
Forbid,
but then
man.
probably end of January.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you guys think in the next 5 days where there'll be some big game changer? There's often big game changers at the final stretch. You don't know it's coming.
I mean, possibly one more assassination attempt. I
Oh
feel like
my
we could
God.
probably get
That could
one
put him
more.
over the top.
I'm just saying, what have there been 2 so far? I'm just saying, I'm not manifesting it. I'm just saying that I wouldn't be, there's already been 2. Who knows?
So what you're saying basically is he staged the first 2. Is that what
I'm
you're
not saying he staged the first. I didn't say that at all. I'm just saying it's been so surreal this entire election.
It has.
He's saying it was God's hands, Tom. That's what Robert
was God's hand
saying. Yes.
You know, it really is Trump that makes it surreal. Like the fact that to me, he feels like a politician from a 1980s sci-fi movie. Like, it's just so wild to me that he is so uniquely himself, 100%.
He really is,
with zero apologies. And it does. You were talking about getting a call from Trump. This is a weird election cycle. I keep getting texted by Kamala and Trump. I don't know how I got into this, but we're all now feeling like we're personal buddies with these people, right? Like, hey, Derek, it's Trump. I'm like, what, me? Oh,
has anybody ever met Kamala Harris or talked to her or anything kind of stuff?
Is this like, you mean in the world?
I was about to say,
people
probably not. But in general, no, I think she very much exists. But
no. What I'm saying is because I
don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't.
Because I've known Donald Trump for years. Not like we're buddies or hang out or whatever, but I've had dinner with him and all that stuff.
Is that because of Florida? Is that a Florida connection?
Yeah. He's nothing like that in person. Not even
That's
close.
what I've heard.
It's like, why do you put on this? Oh, you have heard that, Art?
I've heard that.
Yeah. He's nothing like that. He's very soft spoken. He's very kind. Anything you need, whatever. Why do they put on this big? Because I gotta believe that Kamala Harris doesn't laugh like this. It's like, Jesus Christ, calm down. Like, why do they have to put on this front?
Well, it's interesting. It's comics. Like, are you 100% yourself when you're on stage, or is there a Robert persona that comes on? I know there's a heightened form of Derek Hughes that is presenting as Derek Hughes on stage. Mm-hmm. And are they not performing?
Yeah, I mean, I would say
right.
certainly for the base that Trump has cultivated, I don't think he could maintain them if he was soft spoken and deferential, and if he was up there and he's like, listen, and he pulled like the John McCain 2008, like there's some substantive policy differences between Kamala and myself, but I think she's a wonderful person and she's got a great family and means well, and I respect the hell out of her, and I assume vice versa. And I just hope when this election is done, no matter how it shakes out, we can just work together to fix the problems of this country in a clear-headed and sober way, and make sure that
holy crap, why don't you run?
Robert, why don't you run for president?
That's no.
Well, and don't you see that in him when every once in a while you can tell his team is telling him, read this.
You got to go.
You can tell.
He had his moment at the Republican National Convention after the assassination attempt. Everybody's like, this is it. Just act like I want to come together. And then he immediately is like, oh, this happened because of Biden. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, there was such an opening there where he could have been humbled, and God did this. And I realized that this divisive talk has to end, because on the left, because I have a lot of friends that are in that community, it's like they were dreading it, like, oh, he's got it now. All he has to do is pivot to the center. And he's got it. He had this moment. It was humbling. How can you, no matter what world of facts you live in, like it was an assassination attempt. He survived it. All he has to do is come out a changed man, and he didn't come out as a changed man.
Yeah, but the galvanizing element is divisive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And like persona-wise, isn't it true? We see it in comedy, see it in radio. I'm sure you see it in politics. Some people bring a strong persona. It's almost like a character. For Donald Trump, it works really well for him. Yeah, there's some politicians, like I'm thinking of Tim Pawlenty back in the day. Mm-hmm. He didn't bring that kind of persona. It was just Tim Pawlenty. But then when it was time for him to run for president, it fell flat.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't have enough charisma. Right. He didn't have that. And Donald Trump oozes it.
Well, I think, to tell you the truth, there are people like Tim. Tim Pawlenty is actually a very nice person.
Seems like it, yeah.
So I don't think he can do stuff like that. some of these other people may not be the nicest people on earth, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known people over the years. It's a very, well, you talked about him already. Jimmy Carter. You can't meet a nicer guy than Jimmy Carter. You guys ever talk to him?
No.
He's one of the nicest people ever born. He should have never gotten into politics.
And you can tell. Yeah.
He should have never got, because he doesn't have that I'm going to slit your throat part.
He's meant to be the ambassador type role. He's meant to be the guy that goes, hey, let's come together at the table and let's see how we can agree.
The Fred Rogers of the White House.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, and doing what's best for the country or the people isn't necessarily what's best for your political career. And so if you do make like what is truly the right decision at the time, it can have devastating consequences.
Yeah, are they ready to lead and serve people, or is finance and
right?
Those super PACs made quite a difference in
it's only $1.5 billion. And that's all it was. It's $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion. Jesus, Palomino.
I think it'd be interesting too to be the therapist of a politician.
Oh God, can you even imagine?
Because talking about this part of it, I talk to so many of my clients about being authentic. You find that magic in being authentic. So what if you're talking to a politician whose life ambition is to win this election? And the reality is that maybe being your true authentic self is not going to win you the election. And maybe if, in a way, not being authentic gets you into office, which then allows you to make more long-term changes like in tax policy or whatever.
Right.
That's kind of that would be an interesting position to be in.
No, I don't think there's any question about it. We'll get through it yet again. And some people are just, well, first of all, most people are not very bright. That's one of the problems that we have with this whole thing.
Yeah, because you're right. Some people aren't bright. I think also more than that, people are not encouraged to think. We spend so much time with this thing thinking for us.
Yep.
And we're losing our ability to be critical and thoughtful. And thus we become not bright.
It's true. Tevin, who we got tomorrow on the show?
Derek Hughes.
Derek Hughes is going to be on tomorrow, definitely. You guys can come back too if you want. That'd be wonderful. Who we got tomorrow?
Am I on? Yeah. We got Chris Egert, Bob Stansford, Tim Lammers, Kristen Burt, Derek Hughes.
Okay, so there's room. We could just continue this whole conversation again tomorrow.
If we can shovel out of our driveways.
Well, get out to your drive. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in St. Paul. Well, St. Paul, Roseville, Stillwater. But you
went to prison?
I did say it. But my wife, she's not from here, and she was telling
Minneapolis,
a house service provider that her husband had done time in Stillwater.
Oh yeah,
not knowing that there was a prison in Stillwater. I did junior high in Stillwater, but no, I didn't go.
I love that because I talked about this before. I used to go visit my friends in prison.
Oh, really?
Oh, God, yes. I grew up in North Minneapolis. You're going to have some people that are going to end up in Stillwater, believe me.
I've never been to the complex.
Oh, it's actually the cops there are really great because you'll see these guys got that one pocket out, which means they're in one gang. And then they have two pockets out, the left one, the right one. And they got to put your goddamn pockets back in. They get very upset because they're identifying as gang members and all that.
Of course.
It's, what's so weird about it, though, is Stillwater. And I don't think they still do this, but years ago when I went up there was a 9-hole golf course for the people, the people at Stillwater to play golf. It's like, what? It wasn't very big, but still thinking about it, you're going to give a guy in prison a metal object in his hand with a grip to hit somebody in the noggin.
What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that could happen? Well, my brother-in-law was just attacked 2 days ago, and we're going through some stuff. My brother's like 6'4".
Here?
Yeah.
Where?
At what's the name of the golf course over in Golden Valley?
He was attacked on a golf course? Was it a prison golf course?
No, it was Brookview. Well, kind of a prison.
What? So wait, how was he attacked on a golf course?
This guy ran up to him and said, "You stole my golf ball." And he goes, "No, I didn't. What are you talking about?" So the guy pushed him. Now, first of all, my brother-in-law is 75 years old. He's pushing a 75-year-old guy. So he keeps pushing him and pushing him back, and he hit his back. My brother-in-law did. So my brother-in-law hit him. He punched him to try to get him off him.
Yeah.
Guy runs over, grabs 3 golf clubs. He broke my brother-in-law's leg and his arm, hitting him so hard with a
Good
golf club.
Lord.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, it sounds like that guy's going to be playing golf in Stillwater.
Yeah, he might be playing the Stillwater golf course. But I mean, I think it's this time. I have never seen people meaner than they are right now.
That's crazy.
Why? You're a psychologist.
Well, I was just tying it back to the very beginning. I think it was at the beginning of the show. That thing. Why are tension levels high? I mean, granted, sometimes in human
Are you
history,
saying the election caused this?
Yes,
that's exactly what I'm saying,
fault.
Robert.
Kamala Harris put
Kamala
the
Harris
club in his
caused
hands.
that to happen.
She laughed and it made him grab a club. But no, I mean, people are just.
But yeah, all that shit's being stoked right now, and all I was going to say is, in human history, of course, we always have people that will attack other people on golf courses. That's a part of
it happened in Congress.
Human history, but there is a certain level of that tension that we feel right now.
And it's just
broken bones in his 70s. Is he? How's his recovery?
I've gotten 2 calls from attorneys so far this morning, so I guess I'm going to find out.
That's what that is.
Okay.
And of course, I get a call last night. They because he talked to his attorneys. I get not 1 but 2 phone calls last night from attorneys saying, "Tom, you are not going to the police department in Golden Valley tomorrow, are you?" And I said, "How did you know?" Because I was going to go to the police department because the cops are not taking this very seriously. I mean, 75-year-old guy gets a broken leg and a broken arm, and they're saying, "Oh, it's a big deal." Like, what?
No.
And the attorneys called and said, "Do not go over there, Tom." I said, "Why not?" And they said, "Because you'll lose it, I guarantee it." So I don't get to go anywhere near the
Oh, you're
police
gonna
department.
lose your shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
which I've been known to do once or twice before, but not very often. But where are we now when we are on a golf course and you get so upset you want to beat someone to death with a golf? I mean, he could have killed him
over their ball.
Over a. And by the way, it was a top flight, so it was worth like $1.
So he did take the golf ball. I'm not saying
he did
I'm
not
not saying
take
it
the golf
justified
ball.
it. But
He did not take the golf ball.
Okay, all right. Just want to be clear.
But
But we're seeing it you guys see the news stories of like after sports games right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing, and again, I'm sure that's happened in history, but right now it seems like, and I don't know if it's real or if it's the perception, because we do have that thing in our brain that's going to start to look for shit, right? Like
Make
the confirmation.
connections.
Look at now, all this is happening.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I'm seeing more stories of after sports games. It's like one
No
fan
doubt.
beats another fan to death, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, but that was in Philadelphia. That's going to happen.
Well, I guess that's true.
I still love the fact we can close the show with this. Only in Philadelphia would Santa Claus parachute into the stadium and they booed him. I do love it. You guys ever spend any time in Philadelphia?
No,
a little bit. Yeah.
I love Philadelphia because you will be straight ahead or get the hell out of my face. I love that about Philadelphia.
You haven't done helium?
I have not the helium in Philly. I've done Indy and Good Nights in Raleigh, but I haven't done. Yeah.
Okay, plug your shows again. Then if you should all just come back tomorrow. We'll just continue the conversation.
Talking and plugging.
Yeah, 9:30 p.m. Laugh Camp Comedy Club in St. Paul. Therapy and Politics.
That's tomorrow night.
That's tomorrow night.
Therapy and Politics, an evening with Jesse the Shrink and Robert Baril. And you're at Acme?
That's Friday night?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I'm down at Acme tonight through Saturday night. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. So Friday night, you can make both shows.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And if you want to add another
yeah.
show, we're in a show in Hopkins on Saturday.
Oh, you are?
We have a lot of shows
Where?
happening. LTD Brewing.
Oh,
I have
okay.
a side thing,
Okay.
Freshly Squeezed Comedy. We
Yeah,
got Robert
yeah.
headlining that.
I love Hopkins too. Great.
It's
town.
it is.
There was a little comedy club there that closed.
Yeah, there was.
Edlovich, yeah, right? Wasn't that Hopkins?
It was right when I
The
moved back.
comedy,
and I was like, I'm
yeah,
in St.
yeah.
Louis Park. So I was like,
Oh,
perfect.
yeah, yeah.
And then closed.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
think it was
wow.
only. I think he only created a comedy club so he could have his own comedy festival and book Todd Glass, which he did,
Todd
and then it
Glass.
folded like 4 months later.
Yeah, they came into studio, as a matter of fact.
Oh yeah,
Todd's a great guy.
yeah,
He's
Todd's
cool.
great. Yeah,
Well, I got to be honest with you. I don't know many comedians that I don't like. Am I weird because of that?
No,
Some people
you're a
not
good
like
person.
comedians.
You are a
No,
good-
you're a
yeah,
good
person.
person. You're a really good. Why wouldn't you want to laugh, particularly now? Go see a comedian for Christ.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Comedy-
live. See
Laughter
him
is
live,
transformative. I was just working a makeup artist told me a story about witches, right? This is a Halloween thing.
Sure.
Witches, you think of a witch as like cackling on their broom. Well, she was like, that's been spun to be like this evil maniacal thing, but it originally wasn't. The idea comes from laughter is actually like a magic word. You know, it's like it's an incantation of transformation. So, you know, let's transform out of this dark place where, you know, golfers beat the shit out of each other. And
that would be nice. And by the way, I got to point this out. We don't use this. I found this back in the storage room. When's the last time you saw a princess phone? Like, hello? What the hell? And by the way, we bought this for the kids and they never even bothered to open it. So, you know, I'm real happy about it. So like I said, if you guys could come back tomorrow, that'd be magnificent. I just love the idea. Yeah. Comedy, we need more comedy, especially on Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah. Good luck with those lawyers.
But comedians can only do so much and basically nothing when it comes to legal matters. So also
very, very true.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to find out in just minutes from now what the latest is. But I think it was mean of them that I couldn't go over to the police department and rave at people. Why don't I get to do that?
They're protecting the case, though. They're protecting,
that's
protecting
true.
the best interest of your brother-in-law in the long run, because the law is not logical. You know,
no, it's not. No, it's very
Please,
true.
If I can keep an arm's length from a courtroom for the rest of my life, please.
AJ has to go to his next job. And he's going to kill me if we don't leave now. So
Well, yes, come out and come laugh in Minneapolis or St. Paul to see any of us, because back to everything we're talking about, it's going to feel good if people get out and laugh.
Yes,
this
please
weekend,
do. Go out and have fun. And if you guys can make it back, great. And if you can, I understand, but you'll definitely be here tomorrow.
Please, thank you.
to
Yeah.
it. All right. Thank you very much. Have a magnificent day and try to keep your sidewalk shoveled or some shit.
Whatever it is. Thank you, Tom.
Goodbye.